So, if you're looking for new speed boots, this summer has been a pretty good one, with updates to not only the Mercurial but also the X and the Ultra. And to try and help you decide which one of these three to go for, today I'll go over the fit, the touch and the traction in the Vapor 15 Elite, the X Speed4 Plus and the PUMA Ultra Ultimate. And once you've decided, you can buy all of the three boots in the link right up there. Let's battle it out. Let's start out by looking at the uppers of the three boots here, which are, well, they're actually very similar, on paper at least, because they are all made with some sort of knitted or woven or other sort of textile upper, meaning that they're all very soft and flexible and have this really nice and pliable sensation to them. But you also get that sock-like feeling with a tight, snug fit, but you also feel that the upper follows the shape of your foot in a really nice and almost custom way. So if that's a must for you, well, you get it on all three boots. With that said though, the way the three different uppers feel on foot is very different. Well, let's take the X Speedportal here, for instance, which just feels ever so slightly more, plasticky out of the box compared to the Ultras and the Mercs. And that means that, if I have to say something, that feels a fraction less pliable out of the box compared to the two others. Until you break it in, because once you do, and that happens pretty quickly, it softens up so well and becomes buttery soft around your foot. Now that also means that, of course, out of the box, the Mercurials and the Ultras are very, very soft. But due to the thinner nature of the Ultra weave and the thinner liner, the Mercurials feel ever so slightly more padded and rich around your feet. But guys, if I have to be honest, once you've worn either of these boots twice, 3 times, they all soften up so well and mold so well around your foot that it wouldn't really be fair to name a winner or a loser. Because they're so soft, it's ridiculous. And because the uppers are so soft and so good on all of them, it's mainly going to be the fit in each boot that decides how good they feel on your foot. And here I would say that the Ultra Ultimates and the X Speedportals are on the tighter fitting, narrow side. They will still accommodate for wider footed people, but you definitely get a little bit more of a snug, sculpted fit in these. Now the X Speedportal here, of course, feels a little bit more bulky because of the volume in the heel and especially the gigantic amount of foam it has. So to me at least, the Ultras felt a little bit more nimble in that regard. And then there's the Vapor, which to my surprise and probably everyone else's, it's always been a really tight, narrow-fitting boot, right? But this is the widest of the bunch. And don't get me wrong here, it still has a relatively snug-ish fit. There's just a bit more, leeway to accommodate for wider-footed people. It's a tight fit in a more relaxed way than the two others. But Jay, which one is the more comfortable then? Well, guys, again, to be honest, it feels a little bit weird to have to name a winner here because they all do a really good job. They're super soft, very flexible, great fit in all of them. So, if anything, it just draws a big fat line under the fact that speed boots in 2022 don't have to feel uncomfortable like it was the case back in the day. But if I have to pick a winner, I'd probably have to go with the Vapor 15s or Superfly 9s because they're just so effortless, so easy to wear and love. Whereas the Ultras are a bit more snug, you feel the boot a little bit more, and the X, with that bulk in the heel, just feels a little bit weird to me. We're talking minor details here, but that's the name of the game. In terms of lockdown, I would also say that the Mercs are probably the best, closely followed by the Ultras. Very good in that as well, where obviously the X's are just falling a bit behind due to the fact that it is a laceless boot. Now when we're talking weight though, and it came as a bit of a surprise to me, both the Ultras and the X's are 177 grams in my size Euro 40, which is not bad, but the Vapor 15s are just 163 grams in my size. And you might ask then, does that weight difference matter on the pitch? No, not to me at least, but if you care about such numbers, well, now you know. But as for the touch, Well, they're all three speed boots, meaning that you do get these thin, tight-fitting uppers, leading to this very barefoot-like sharp and raw close sensation on the ball. Now, for me at least, the Ultras were ever so slightly thinner, ever so slightly more raw and true on the ball, with the X and the Mercs feeling like they have ever so slightly more layers in between your foot and the ball, giving this slightly more soft and padded and rounded sensation, while still being, of course, very, very sharp. They also, all three of them, have some sort of, texture on the upper, but the Ultras feel, I'd say they feel a bit more sticky to the texture. You don't fall over the ball like you did on the 1.4s, but a little bit more sticky, where the X and especially the Mercs have just a slightly more matte feel to the texture. But honestly, if you're looking for that raw, close, barefoot-like sensation with a little bit of grip, choose your poison. They're all good. And I know they're called speed boots, but there's also the matter of shooting, striking the ball, where again, the Ultras, they feel a little thinner, but they also feel ever so slightly more, pingy, as if you're shooting with your bare feet. Slightly more, that powerful energy return that pings off your foot when you strike the ball. It's almost the same feeling, and I know it's kind of boring to say that they're not that different, but they aren't. It's almost the same feeling in the X's and the Mercurials, but the toe boxes in these boots are slightly lower, which is really nice, and obviously you get this big, clean striking surface on the X, which to me is a good thing. It's a pleasure to strike the ball in, and the Mercurial is just, it's a Mercurial. What you see is what you get. And it just feels, again, like that ever so slightly more padded version of what you get in the Ultra, but with a lower toe box and a more matte feel. And then there is the matter of the studs and the outsoles, where you get, I would say, probably the biggest difference in feel and performance. Now, the Ultras are probably the most conventional because carbon fiber and air zoom bag, but they still feel very uncompromising in terms of giving you the sensation of some sort of energy return or response and a directness in terms of your pushing off in the ground. And while the X Speedportal here is very, very, very responsive, very aggressive in its snapback, and really feels good when you push off in the ground, I definitely think that the Ultras rival them, and on the pitch especially, somehow, to me at least, felt like they were a little bit more responsive, or at least gave me a bit more of that sensation when I'm pushing off that I really appreciate. But honestly, guys, both are super aggressive when pushing off and have stub patterns that work really well. And then there's the matter of the Mercurial, which has the air zoom bag in the tooling as well. Now, Nike will tell you that it's going to propel you forward and amplify your energy return, of which I felt absolutely nothing when I played. But what I did feel was this wonderfully comfortable and very, should we say, one-to-one sensation with the boot that is extremely unique. And I enjoy the air zoom part a lot. And finally, of course, you also have a sensation of a very fast plate with these studs here that are probably my favorite. So which is better then? Well, I would say that these are the most aggressive studs, and you have a slightly more responsive, aggressive snapback in the Ultras and the X's. Then it's up to you to decide. Right. All of that information and you still haven't decided. So let me try and paint you a picture here. I would say that the Mercs are probably the best, well, scratch that, the most comfortable fitting boots out there because of the more generally appealing direction they've taken. And I can see a big player uptake coming into these because of that wider appeal. But like I said in my review, that probably also means that it leaves a little bit of space behind in that speed boot niche that other boots can come and fill out. So if you're looking for a more specialized speed boots, I think that the X and the Ultras, they do really well at that. They feel a bit more focused as hardcore speed boots, and they will most likely also to you, as it does to me, feel a bit more traditional speed boot-like compared to the Mercurials. So which one should you buy then? Well, I've been testing all of these more or less at the same time, and I can honestly say that I've been enjoying them. So if you gave me only one of these and told me I had to wear it for a full season, I wouldn't mind. They're all great speed boots. if I have to choose to put one boot into my rotation, it's probably gonna be the Vapors, then Ultras, then X's. That's the way it goes, guys. But which one do you prefer? Let me know in the comment section right down below. Remember that you can buy all of these 3 plus all the other speed boots on the market in the link to unisportstore.com right over there. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you do that with the notifications on. And then if you want to learn how to improve as a footballer, the playlist right down there is absolutely fantastic. And guys, with those words, I'll be signing off. Cheerio.